can justify that this has worth even though it's old, you're ahead of the battle. And being excited about it, if you're excited about learning about it, about being informed about it, informing other people becomes much easier. So that's you're further. I would say do it.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions on this? On those two areas that I've covered thus far? Nope. Alright, then we will get to outlining. Alrighty, and then we'll go to which means we'll go to the handout. Alright, as a little bit of a disclaimer before I start this. A informative speech is a minimum of 10 minutes. Ideally, you're going to do 9.5. You know, that gives you a little leeway both ways, that if you forget a line, you're not, like 9:20 is not too more. If you add a line, 9:40, you know, like you're right in that little, you're in that niche, so you're looking at 9:30. Which means most people, not all, are going to write a 4.5-page double-spaced paper. Because most people speak about 2 minutes per double-spaced page. Some people are a little faster, some people are a little slower, so I suggest even reading any random double-spaced page and timing yourself so that you know what your time is. But the average person, like probably 80% of the students I've worked with, are just about 2 minutes per double-spaced page. So you're looking at a 4.5-page paper. So, that being said, first page, your first 2 minutes is going to be your intro, your preview statement, all that jazz, and then your first contention will probably start either right at the top of your second page or at the bottom of your first. So let's talk about the intro. First page. You have to start with your attention grabber, something that will make people want to have attention on you. I mean, don't just yell something random and funny. If you can be funny, I can't be funny. But something that's interesting. Like, I mean, and attention grabbers can go any way. I've seen attention grabbers on Pop Culture Jump, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Heroes, movies, X-Men, comic books. They can go literary and Huckleberry Finn and Lord of the Rings. You know, like, attention grabbers can really go anyway, as long as they link to your topic. So let's say Heroes. We'll use Heroes. Does anybody watch Heroes besides me? Alright, it's a really good show. You should all watch it. I work for Fox now. I should. But Heroes. So you start off with whatever. Heroes is striving towards saving the world, and in order to save, they have to save the cheerleader to save the world. And just as they have one simple objective that will make something larger, we can look at this particular technological advancement, which will make our lives easier in this way. You see what I'm saying? Like, just make sure the attention grabber links to whatever the heck you're talking about. Because if it doesn't link, even if it's funny, your judges are smarter than that. Like, these are people that listen to speeches for a living. So they're going to know whether or not, and I mean, in impromptu and extemp, it's a little bit different because you only have 30 minutes or 2 minutes to prepare, and your attention grabber might not link quite as well. In an informative speech, or your attention grabber, like, really has to link. It can't just be funny and cute, because they will notice. So you have your attention grabber. After you have your attention grabber, link it to the speech, second step. Which, while you're linking it to your speech, it's your presentation of your topic. You give a little bit of a line. Why is this interesting? Why did you choose it? Don't say, I chose it because. Like, answer the question to yourself, why did I choose this? Because I think it's intriguing. Then the thing is, this is a very relevant speech topic now because it was intriguing, and you know what I mean? Like, you have to present the topic. Put in the thing about it that caught your attention. At this point, you should be 30 seconds into your speech and your first cite should come. You want your first cite before the 45-second mark, so that you really start to bang that credibility in there. Alright. Once you've got that, you're going to do your significance line. This answers the so what question. Every speech needs this. Persuasion, crit, ADS, and info needs a so what question answered. This is important to our society today because monkeys are stupid. This is important to our society today because we can learn a great deal from this. I mean, these are really generic. I'm saying really generic things, but you need a specific line that answers that so what question. And in there, you might add another source. That might be where your second source is. You can quote somebody there too. Like if you find somebody that said something in an article somewhere, that's a good way. Like, because you don't want to plug in your own opinion. Like, this is mad cool because, but you can say, so-and-so said this is mad cool because, and then it's not your opinion anymore and it rocks. And just because you agree with it doesn't give it any less worth because it's cited somewhere. Somebody decided it was important enough to put in print. It's good enough for the forensics community. All right. So in this, so you're probably three-quarters of the page done right now because you've presented your topic, you've added some credibility in there, you've given your significance line, answered the so what question. Now it's time for your preview statement. Has anyone heard of Milton Berle? No. See, less and less students every year have heard of him. He's a very famous comedian, and he once said, in order to really present a speech well, you tell people what you're going to tell them. You tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. No activity more than forensics listens to this. You have your preview statement, which says, here's what I'm going to tell you. You have your body, which tells them, and then you have a review statement, which is exactly a preview statement in the past tense. Alright? So Milton Berle says you tell people what you're going to tell them. So you need a preview statement. This is just going to tell people what your three main contentions are. So in order to fully understand these nanobots that kill annoying people, we will first understand what they are. We will then look at how they work, before finally looking at some implications. Boom, preview statement done. But you need this. If you do not have this, you will get marked on ballots. I mean, they won't say, hey, you need a preview statement because it's an unwritten rule, but they'll say something like, I would feel better if you told me in which direction you were going, which means, hey, put a freaking preview statement. All right? So you need this. This is a requirement. Once your preview statement is done, so is your intro. Now is the time to transition into the body of your speech. Now, in terms of body, I would say 499 out of 500 speeches will be three contention speeches. And I might be downplaying it a little. It might be more than that. If you have 4 contentions or 2 contentions, you better have a stinking good reason to have that. Because this community likes people to be out of the box, but they need reasons. So the best way to go is three contentions. I put some basic 3 contention items on there. If it's a technological advancement or a scientific, medical, the first one I put is pretty standard. What it is, how it works, implications. I mean, that's a great way to explain any type of technological advancement. What it is, advantages, disadvantages. If you do that one, you have to make sure your advantages and disadvantages are equal. If you have 3 advantages, think of a 3rd disadvantage. Because if you're heavy on one side or the other, it can be called a persuasive speech, and you will get marked on ballots for that too. Because this is informative speaking. You have to stay unbiased. Okay? And then past, present, future is basically, that one's a lot more for topics that we know some stuff about, but here is a new twist. And that's more like, here's what was being done with this, here's what we know now, and here's what we're going to be doing with this. Like, I saw a speech once on the multiple uses of tea, like tea leaves, and it was a pretty cool speech. And they used the past, present, future. Here's what we knew about tea, here's what we're doing now with tea, and look what tea can do. You know, like